a child of light. I'm good, release the dark to bright. Find the timeline, correct to true. Detect, release, reveal the light that's you. Allah sauté.
Today, we're going to talk with our inner critic, the star of our personality. Unbeknownst what we have learned from our culture has always told us to deny the voice of the inner critic. It is only harmful to us and can lead us down the road of no success. Today, I'm going to show you a self-help way of actually speaking with our inner critic and also showing you testimonials of people who have done this work. We're not denying him, we're not telling him to be quiet, we're encouraging him to speak to us, because otherwise there's no peace. The traditional way of don't talk to your inner critic, please put him on hold, he's not part of you, he's a bad person, is not the truth. The inner critic has gotten a very bad reputation, which puts us in a shame-guilt situation. The inner critic who produces the shame and guilt is obviously the key to release it. So once we help the inner critic to realize what we're realizing, that shame and guilt is not necessary for us, we cannot evolve, we cannot prosper, we cannot maintain a healthy relationship with shame and guilt, he will release it. We then become very smart and avoid it. And we do not want to have them within ourselves anymore or give it to others. Okay, now I'm going to show you a way to talk with our inner critic, which will dramatically change your life. Step 1, get some paper and pencils. Hopefully you have colored pencils. We think in color, not black and white. I'm ready. Step 2, think or try to remember at one point in your life, childhood, teenage, adulthood, where you felt a shameful experience that happened to you, which is different for everyone. There's no right way or wrong way. You may have several. Just pick the one that first pops in your mind, because that's the one. Our mind's very smart. It tells us what to do first. I think of something and I feel to draw in black and red. So that's what I'm going to do. Oh, I'm drawing people. Oh, maybe that's what my inner critic looks like. Oh, I'm choosing red. That's how I feel, angry. Okay, oh, I'm making a stick person.
Ugh, your drawing is terrible. You're gonna embarrass yourself.
Ah, I know that voice. All our inner critics are very smart, and they have used tactics all our lives. Now, sometimes you can feel the inner critic. You don't hear them. They want to communicate with you, but they've been shoved away for so many years.
Oh, please. I don't want to talk to you.
Ah, now we've entered step 3. We're going to communicate with the inner critic with a gracious thank you. Thank you so much for coming to talk with me.
What could you possibly have to say to me?
Oh, I think we can get to know each other. It would be advantageous for both of us.
Why would I work with you when you always screw up?
What is your name?
I don't have one. You've never cared about me. You just ignore me.
Well, no name. You're correct. Of course, you know that. You see, the way it is in our culture, we are trained and taught, part of us, no name, is very inconsequential to our life. I've learned that if we could work together, both of our lives would be enriched and happy.
I don't work with anybody. I work alone. I don't need you or those pesky emotions. I shut them up long ago.
They know how to deflect and avoid any conversation that's contrary to their beliefs. The way to engage our inner critic, who still hears us even though he's not acknowledging it, is to continue our talking to him. We need to stay focused on him and the way he has been mistreated the whole life of ours. Even though no name's answer to us seems very negative and not therapeutic at all, he spoke to us. That is huge, because some inner critics take weeks. It's a great victory for both of us that we even are able to communicate. Oh, my inner critic is very crafty. He doesn't have a name. Well, he won't even tell me his name. But it's very important for the inner critic to have his name, because he becomes personalized. Once our inner critic is a person, our communication becomes more effective. So what does a name do? A name gives the inner critic validation. For me and for all of us, no name has been an emotional protector. However, he has only one tool in his toolbox. He only has shame and guilt to use to keep us safe. Don't do this and don't do that and don't do a new venture, and you're not really smart enough to do this. That's protection in his mind, but it's not helping us to achieve and be at peace with our choices. This is where the mediation begins. So I tell no name that there are other tools to use but shame and guilt. And if he would give his permission to kick shame and guilt out of our personality, we all could live a better life. But no name doesn't know a better life. He only knows the shame guilt way. So I am enticing him to think of another way. But he's very smart, so it doesn't take too much because he's smart. One way I can convince him is to tell him that he can have more power without shame and guilt. I can have more power without shame and guilt. I think he may like that. No name, that's our problem. The emotions and I are not happy. We can't have fun.
Happy? What are you even talking about?
Do you want to be successful, no name?
Well, I guess.
Success brings power. How do you feel about more power, no name?
Yeah, I like power.
Yeah. I'm to tell you a secret. You get more power when you live with success. And success comes when you're happy. I also came to learn, no name, that our emotions are very important to both of us. And I know you know this because you have kept them silent. But they want to talk. And when they talk, they give us energy. they're like a battery. We can have more life inside of us because our emotions bring us the life force. Without them, we get old and die. I don't want you to die, No Name. I need you.
Well, what do you expect me to do? Just go away?
Is that what you thought I said, No Name?
Yeah.
I'm inviting you to be part of our family. We are a family, but no one told us before we were a family. In fact, you're the star of our family. We need you. No Name, do you feel your importance?
Of course I do. And it's about time you did too.
That's exactly how important the emotions are, and I am. We're all important. But you hold the key, No Name, to shame and guilt. No Name. With the help of the emotions, I have learned the ways of shame guilt behavior. I can detect them. With your help, I can release the behaviors that we still hold. I can avoid future shame guilt. Thank you, No Name. What needs to happen is for me to graciously invite No Name into a place where we don't use shame and guilt, but other ways to have protection. I am helping No Name to understand that I want to release shame and guilt within me, but No Name holds the key. I cannot move forward unless No Name gives the go-ahead. He's really that important to us. And also we need to respect him for the wonderful job he's done all these years of my life. So how can I mediate a partnership with No Name as we work together in our pursuit of protection from emotional hurts? Step 4, we draw or sense how we see our inner critic. However, we may feel like this is not appropriate because we see or sense him as a very ferocious, mean character, not something that we want to have within inside of us. However, I want to tell you that shame guilt distorts our perception of ourselves. And since the shame guilt producer is our inner critic, he will have the most distortion. When he decides to release the shame guilt, he will be seen as his real self. Each time we communicate with him, either drawing or sensing or talking, we are drawing him out of the shame guilt darkness. Over time, No Name and I will continue our conversations. We are not saying no, we are working to say yes. We have to remember that No Name has been using this particular use of shame guilt for all of my lifetime, which is 40, 50 years. We don't expect him to change immediately. We wouldn't want him to. When our inner critic chooses not to use shame and guilt because he sees the benefits from the emotions, how they have changed. As he comes out of the shame guilt darkness into the light of truth, he automatically knows he doesn't want to use shame and guilt anymore, just like we don't want to use it anymore. He decides then, as our protector, kicks it out. How would you feel if you never felt the resistance and the obstacle of shame and guilt? You would have more freedom, more self-confidence, self-esteem. Your love would abound. You could have more fun. This usually takes some time and effort, but the journey is well worth it. It's also important for you me, Lois, to become the ambassador or mediator, however you see that within yourself, between you, the inner critic, and the emotions. You set the stage of either shame, guilt, or the use of love. We love our inner critic, we love our emotions, we love ourselves. Without shame, guilt, we have that opportunity. You can follow me on my website, loishollis.com, which will have all the information that you can need. It's been my pleasure and also my joy to bring this new information to you.
I'm good, I'm good, I'm a child of light. I'm good, I'm good, release the dark to bright. Find the timeline, correct to true.
There's very few people that I ever meet that talk about shame or have even concepts of the depth of shame and how much it is debilitating to our emotional growth. And so I was so excited. It was like, wow, somebody who gets what the whole shame thing's about.
Well, when you finally see the counterpart of your own characters in the people that are around you, something magical happens. Because we have these people that are always acting out some part of ourselves. That was the revelation for me. And the revelation was, well, there was a number of them, was primarily, one had to do with my former landlord, and the other had to do with my dentist. And then what I was working at with relationship to both of them came together as one character. And it actually personified as a particular name. I'm not going to say the name, because I don't want to get sued. But it actually became the name of somebody. My mind put this together, do you understand? Of somebody that I knew. And after that process happened, I could forgive him. That wouldn't have happened through standard therapy. I'm convinced of that. Which tends to be rather analytical and mental. I think people are tired of that. They're looking for something else. They want to get away from that. Something where you're actually talking to a part of yourself and it'll talk back to you, and it's not what you actually expect. I think is a lot more valuable because that's more in keeping with the language of the unconscious mind. So I think this is what Lois is doing, and that's why it's valuable.
After we had the session, we had a fantastic sale, and it was this immediate confirmation that the work we did had an impact and results actually in physical reality, which is what's exciting to me is you can measure it and see it, and it's real. It's like, wow, I released this emotion, and then my life looked like the way I wanted it to look instead of being at the effect of life.
I'm a child of light. I'm good, I'm good. Release the dark to bright. Find the timeline, correct to true. Detect, release, reveal the light that's you. Allah sote. Tenere pero ese ne me dado por ese ovo no pere curo todo so por ese pi. I'm good, I'm good, I'm a child of light. I'm good, I'm good. Release the dark to bright. Find a timeline, correct to true. Detect, release, reveal the light that's you. Oh, I wanna be more. I wanna be more. I wanna be more. is the song I pray. Holy, holy, holy is every song I sing. I want to live, I want to give, I want to bring a song of life. Hold yourself, hold yourself, hold yourself, love yourself, love yourself.